Alright, so when you're cutting an onion, there's kind of only one right way to cut it, dice it, or to cut it real small. If you're trying to get it to go into your sauce, you don't want onion strips or onion bits to be a major component of the bite that you take with this meal, but rather you want onion flavor to go into what you're cooking. Then what you want to do is cut your onions super duper small. Now some people call that a dice. It's actually smaller than that. What we're looking for, I believe, is called a fine brunoise. But what we're going to do here is look at the onion along, cut it along the side, right in half here. And then you've got the end with the top here. We're going to cut that top off. Leave the butt on. I'm going to cut the top off.
Really?
Yep, that's right.
Great. Dad, when is Mommy going to get home with the lemons?
I don't know. That'll be when we do the hummus. Right now we're just cutting these onions, okay?
For our dinner?
Mm-hmm. Next, we're going to take the skins off. Now, I always just sacrifice the outer layer, and that way I get all of the skin material out. So again, just going to take the skin from right here and take that outermost layer of skin. See, I can even take one more than that. And that'll get that outermost layer of yuck off there. And now we got nothing but yum from the inside. And all of this junk we will make stock out of later. Okay, we put that in a freezer bag that we set aside. Keep this in the freezer, and any what I like to call butts, all the cuts and butts from the onions and the carrots and the celery and everything else that we use, garlic, peppers, kind of anything with the sofrito, then we put up in here. And then we'll make stock out of this later. Next, we're going to take our onions here and we are going to carefully, not to cut ourselves, cut horizontally all the way up into the butt, but not through it. See, the butt stays intact, so the whole thing stays like one. But then we're going to make some shelves here, different layers here, kind of like floors of a building. Carefully. Now, having a very sharp knife helps here. This is a very sharp knife. We'll show you how to sharpen knives another time. We're going to do the same thing to the other one. Had an instructor once say, in yoga, we always do both sides. Yeah, we could do one more right at the top, sure. Okay, so none of them went through, that's great. Next, I'm gonna go through and do, that was kind of a horizontal slice. Now I'm gonna do a vertical slice toward the butt back here, and I'm gonna start at one end and come to the other. And try to keep the onion intact while I do this. That part can be hard. This is when the onion starts to want to fall apart on you. But if you can keep it intact through this step, the last step will be much easier. So I'm going to work hard at going slow and being focused and using this hand to keep the onion all together as best I can. Go slow, be careful. Cutting is about focus. Look at that, I brought some with me and I didn't want to. Right as I'm talking about focusing. I hear you, Grandma. Grandma Ruby used to say, God loves to make a liar. She meant to be careful with what you say, because you don't know how the world's going to turn out. Look at that. You'll notice I moved right onto the last step. It's because the onion was trying to fall apart on me. Did you see that? So in order to try not to let gravity and entropy have her way with me, I'm just going to try to get in there and cut it. And look how small each of those little squares is. Do you see this? I mean, they are tiny, right? So those are going to cook down into the sauce really nice. And if you really want to get small, you can make this last slice super duper thin to where you can even see right through it. Okay? Now, I'm not going to do that. We love the taste of our little bits of onions. So I'm just going to go for a very small one instead of super duper duper fine where it almost melts into the sauce. This will kind of flavor the sauce heavily, but also still be a component of what you feel and taste in your mouth, which is great. Okay, so you just saw me finish that half. Now, let's go ahead and finish the other half, shall we? Ready, set. All right, I think I'm gonna call it there. As you can see, I got most of them, you know, I'll come out here and then zoom in. Most of them are pretty small, like these little guys in here, you know. But then, you know, I left some bigger pieces too, and that's okay too, because then those will show up in what it is we're cooking next. If you want it super small, you can make them super small. If you want them big, you can make them big. But if you start with a horizontal, go to vertical, and then cut laterally across that vertical, I'll tell you what, you get a small cut quick. Enjoy. Boy, I tell you, these onions were telling a sad story about a lonely cowboy, and I'm not crying, you are. But don't forget to like and subscribe. It was great to see you, kiddo. You can do it. I'm proud of you. Bye.